the Evolution Security Podcast.
Let's talk about an awesome training opportunity. We are super pumped to be hosting John Murphy of FPF Training for his Street Encounters, Skills, and Tactics class, the 5th and 6th of November 2022, just outside Fort Bragg, North Carolina. This class will teach life-saving material to include Stop the Bleed Medical, Pre-Encounter Management, Pre-Assault, Proper Pepper Spray Use and Deployment, Essential Shooting Skills, Scenario-Based Decision-Making, Post-Fight, and more. For tickets, go to our show notes and find the class link, or go to John's website, fpftraining.com, and look for the class in his course calendar. Come train with us.
Hello. Thank you so much for tuning in, listening to, downloading, and watching the EvoSec podcast. Eric and I are here, and again, just welcome. And we have another one of our Gear and Mindset episodes where Eric and I get to sit here and chat on an afternoon after work and, just enjoy ourselves. We love to talk with each other, and it's fun to get online here and do it virtually and have a little conference. Now, Eric, I wanted to start out, just jump right in here, and something we haven't implored our listeners to do in a while is to share our show, rate the show, and review the show. Now, we are on probably every platform you can think of, from Spotify, iHeartRadio. There's listener notes. We're on, of course,
Podchaser.
Yeah, we're on YouTube now, which is new to us, but we're
of course Apple.
Yeah, but the best place, of course, to review us is to go on Apple Podcasts and give us a rating and a review. That would be awesome. And again, please share with your friends and family, because we believe in the information that we are presenting here. We have amazing experts that come on here and teach us all at the same time. And again, we know that it's great information that needs to be heard. So we would love it if you could help us get the word out and get other listeners on board. So we really appreciate that.
Well, Aaron, if I could add one other thing to it, when Nick and I were on together, I think you were on vacation, and I had mentioned one of our negative reviews, which we don't get hardly any at all, and that's fine. We're fine with negative reviews, especially if it's constructive criticism, because we want our audience members, if they feel they do not like something or disagree, they may mention that. But this one review was about losing the politics, and that's just not something we're prepared to do, because again, the connection of politics and the Second Amendment and self-defense. But I just wanted to also add to that, Aaron, one of my favorite authors is Jack Carr. His series that's also on Amazon right now, really good series. In Jack Carr's style, as he says, if you want to counter some of those negative reviews that we've only had a couple, go on there and do that 5-star rating and write a nice review if you like what you hear.
Yeah.
And Aaron, I'd also go ahead, buddy.
No, you go ahead.
One other thing, because we're kind of new to YouTube, we're not used to asking folks this as well. Is if you are watching on YouTube, please subscribe and like and share if you so feel employed to. That's going to help us grow as well. So that's about what I got there, Aaron. How about this very special announcement we got?
Yeah, we've got a class coming up here.
Yeah, man, we're super excited. Aaron and I are going to be doing a 16-hour course. Essentially, it's going to be our 8-hour pistol course and our 8-hour Combatives weapons-based class combined. And we're going to be doing this at Training Ground in Tulsa, Oklahoma, 19th and 20th of November of 2022. We're going to have more details on our website. And Aaron, won't you give them your email address so they can get in touch with you if they're interested?
Yeah, you can reach out to me on my email that's AaronD1 at cox.net. That's AAROND, the numeral 1, at cox.net. And I can get information about the pricing and we can get additional information out as soon as the class starts getting closer, gear needs and all that stuff. So, yeah, we're really excited. And almost more than anything, I'm looking forward to having you here at home and hanging out with you for a few days.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's always one of the best parts of when we're doing classes together back home, taking classes, because we've not done one of these classes or courses together teaching. So it just makes it that much more special. But, yeah, man, we just have such a great time and then getting to see family. So it's going to be a blast, folks. If you're interested, we're going to have a good time. And to give a little synopsis, it's a solid drawing from the holster defensive pistol course that includes also some close quarters, extreme close quarters firing positions, and then we will combine some Greco wrestling and some jiu-jitsu for the street, and we'll also incorporate some in-fight weapons access, to use Craig Douglas's terms. Now we're not at all imitating their material. We've borrowed some of it with his permission, but this is our material as well. And we want to make sure that folks, if they want Aaron, for lack of a better term, a gateway into those harder force-on-force classes, that's what this class is kind of about.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not going to be... Go ahead.
I fully say, this is a gateway into, say, UCQC or EWO and there's
complete combatant Cliff's class. It's a gateway into those courses for sure.
Sure, because
so
we
it won't be
want
too
people
rough. It's a little physical, but not real physical.
Yeah, we
no
want people
Sims in this class either.
Yeah, we want people to come take this class and then go on to take those guys' classes. So,
yeah, we'll be using blue guns and trainer knives and whatnot. So we'll have some force-on-force element to it, but it's going to be light. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Good deal. Well, Eric, I want to revisit something. A few Gear and Mindset episodes ago, I went over my choice of having a Glock 42 and 380. I want to revisit that because there was something that I was wrong about. So I want to make sure I, revisit that and have that known. But real quick, Eric, I thought of something that would be interesting and maybe kind of funny to talk about, but it's a serious topic, and that is going to the bathroom with your carry pistol on.
It's an important topic.
Because I've seen people talk about it, and I've even heard people ask these questions on some of our other favorite shows. And it's just interesting to me that, sometimes people take their guns off and, often leave their pistols in the bathroom because they do that. There's lots of people concerned about if they're in a non-permissive environment, sliding their pants down and letting that pistol dangle off to the side, etc. But so I thought I could just say what I do. Let's just be frank. Cool. And I think it's a pretty good way to handle this important but personal topic. But hey, we're all about getting down to the nitty gritty, and we're talking about saving our lives and keeping safe. So we want to keep safe when we go to the bathroom too.
Absolutely.
So us guys, right? A lot of times we're going up to the urinal and doing our business, and there's lots of people that think, "What? How am I gonna? I got to hold on to my pistol," and you're kind of juggling everything, and to what I do, I leave my belt on. You've got your zipper. Just take the zipper down. Let's also the old-fashioned little gap thing that you can unfold in the underwear. You're good to go, and then zip back up. You don't have to even undo the belt. I know that's kind of funny to talk about, but man, it's.
I do the same exact thing, man. Identical.
Well, bro, especially in a non-permissive environment, you can't be, especially if you got a Glock 19 or something a little heavier. You try and juggle that and go to the bathroom at the same time. You might lose it, and then not lose it, but it's just. Can come unruly. So, man, that's what I do.
And if I could add one other thing to that, yeah. and it's just because we're all about being aware as well. It's just smart. If you are using a urinal, you still need to pay attention to what's around you.
Yep.
And one of the things that I try to do is, especially if there's advertisements or glass, I just use that glass. I can look. Use it similar to a mirror.
That's a good point.
If there's none of that available, it's okay. I just kind of look around, just like I'm looking around at stuff, so I can use my peripheral vision to make sure that nobody's creeping up on behind my six, and that's a way that you can, without making people think you're being weird, looking out the side of your eye, to me, I think that's. Go ahead.
Well, that's funny. So I do something similar too. Especially if there's not anyone in there, I'm by myself. Man, I get a little bit of an angle out. so I can.
Same here.
So I'm. If somebody walks in, I'm ready to kind of go straight forward. But before that, I'm ready to see someone walk in out of my peripheral. So that's a good point.
And one other thing that I'll add, I mean, we do not go to stupid places at stupid times with stupid people anymore.
Nope.
I'm not going to say I didn't when I was younger because I didn't know any better, but also there are times where I just feel better about, going into the stall, even if I'm, doing the stand-up, number one. Is I'll go into the stall and lock the door behind me because if I can do that and just add one more element to being in that position, all the better. And hey man, another thing I might add is that it also keeps folks like Billy Hall from coming in and kicking you in the butt when you're going to the bathroom. Remember that asshole?
Yes. Man, school bullies. Wonder what that guy's up to. Probably not a whole lot, just to be frank.
Last I heard, he wasn't doing very well, but we don't want that out of that's, people. I actually hope that he's doing good. And I will say that there in high school, he came around and I started to really like him.
Yeah, we did become friends later, that's for sure. But that's a funny story. Well, okay, so back to this real quick. Now, for guys, number 2, and then for you gals, all right? What I do is I just carefully drop my pants, holding on to my pistol, and then I just fold it down in between my pants, down at the bottom of my legs, and you can even kind of cover it up, Again, if you're in a non-permissive environment, that's good. And a lot of the times, if I'm in an MPE, I kind of turn around to make sure that when I'm getting those pants down, that I don't have, I'm not showing my pistol off too. But man, it's that simple. And I think
it's crazy that you and I do the exact same things, and we've never really talked about this.
No, we haven't talked about this at all. I just kind of sprung this on you, but it's interesting that people. I'm sure a lot of our listeners and a lot of people think about this and do the exact same things, but at the same time, it doesn't occur to some people, or else we wouldn't have people, sending in questions to Mike Seaclander asking about it,
Yep.
So,
or asking me flat out, in various settings, you know.
So I know it's real simple, but those are the things I do, and I haven't left a pistol anywhere yet. So,
yeah, man, can you imagine that person, what they felt like when they discovered they did that?
Oh my!
Talk about your heart going in your stomach,
Bro, and that's another thing, and we'll get off this, but apparently people leave pistols in hotel safes a lot too.
Oh, wow. I sit there and say that, I could imagine some people, I can't imagine doing it myself, but I can see how it could happen. I suppose.
If I'm using one of those safes, I'm real cognizant about it. I'll put stuff in there, like my car keys or something like that, just as a fail safe. Especially because a lot of the times when I'm on the road, I usually have two pistols with me, one smaller one, one larger one. Depending on what I'm doing, I'll grab one of them out of the safe. We're honored to have Keepers Concealment as a sponsor of the show. If you have a modern Appendix carry holster, it was probably influenced by their original keeper. So you owe it to yourself to check out what they have to offer for your EDC needs. Also, Spencer Keepers is a top-notch trainer. I've taken his AIWB skills class and highly recommend it. Go to keepersconcealment.com where you can buy a holster, sign up for one of his excellent classes, or inquire about hosting him in your town. For any Keepers Concealment products, use Evo Twins at checkout for 10% off. Also, Keepers Concealment is a proud affiliate of CCW Safe. They offer proven legal defense coverage if you had to defend yourself against a lethal threat. Go to keepersconcealment.com/CCW-safe to find coverage that meets your needs.
Let's talk about our sponsor, Origin. Pete Roberts was told you could not make jiu-jitsu gis in the U.S. Well, Pete and his team have proven the naysayers wrong by producing the best jiu-jitsu gis on the market. I, for one, love my Path gi. It is lightweight, yet strong and super comfortable with an innovative technical fiber weave that is also IBJJF legal. The Wave logo is legit. It has woven belts that blend between white, blue, purple, brown, and black, hence the name The Path. They also produce jeans, hoodies, handmade leather boots, and Jocko fuel supplements that help us recover from hard workouts, force on force classes, and simply make us feel better and more energized through the day. I just finished a hard workout in my garage gym and rewarded myself with a delicious mint chocolate milk protein shake and coconut milk. Man, it's like dessert. If you're looking for any Origin products, please go to our show notes and click on the affiliate link, or look for the icons in our blog section of our website at evosec.org. It helps us keep this podcast free and keeps the lights on. If you get something out of this show and you feel like helping us out, use EvoSec 10 for 10% off at checkout.
I want to go ahead. Like I said, I wanted to talk about the issue with that I talked about a little bit of ballistics for the 380 cartridge. Now, what kind of precipitated this, Eric, was that I went on a particular gun forum that I don't think I'm going to hang out much anymore, because I'll tell you what, it's amazing. There's great information on these forums, but it seems like more than half the people are pompous jerks. And I mean, nothing like guns to get the testosterone going and making people feel like they can, talk down to you. So I experienced that, but that's all right, because in a nutshell, so I went on one of these forums and was talking about my Glock 42 with my Holosun 507K on there, and immediately people came in, why are you putting a dot on a 42? That defeats the purpose of having that small gun. And I don't know how many times I had to say, because I can't see iron sights well enough because of my my synthetic lenses. After beating that off a handful of times, I then got bombarded by the ballistics guys, and no, the 380 does not pass all the FBI protocols. So now on that, I was wrong. So, but it was...
It's okay to be wrong.
Oh yeah. Well, that's why the name of this show is Evolution Security, because we're always evolving and always learning too. But the deal isn't, and of course people weren't nice about it, but that's okay. I don't want to sound like a big baby, but it just cracks me up. The way people can talk to other people when they've got a handle, anonymously. But real quick, I'm just going to touch base on these FBI protocols. Long story short, okay, it started, the FBI, the Miami shootout in 1986 in Miami-Dade County, where unfortunately those two FBI agents, Jerry Dove and Ben Grogan, were murdered. And one of the things that they really took away from that was that their ammunition, there was basically a failure of their ammunition, because one of the perpetrators was shot right through the chest with a 9mm, and it didn't get to his heart. So, and after that shot, he was able to kill those two officers, those two agents.
That's right.
So what it comes down to is that after that, the FBI needed to figure out how they could choose proper ammunition and loads for their agents. So they came up with this protocol. Now, so basically, it is 6 tests. Now, here's where I was right, that the first 2 tests, the 380 rounds that I was talking about, did pass the first 2, which are bare gelatin, no barrier, and then heavy clothing, gelatin, no barrier. But then it goes further to be light clothing on gelatin and a steel barrier, light clothing on gelatin, drywall barrier, and then light clothing, gelatin, plywood barrier, and then light clothing on gelatin, auto glass barrier. So now, of course, those officers, police officers, and then especially FBI agents that are not plain clothes, because remember, plain clothes officers sometimes have more civilian-like shootings, but when it comes down to it, those last 4 protocol, those are what would usually occur with LE, right? The deal is most civilian shootings, the perpetrator is not behind cover. So that was a little bit of kind of a funny thing, because these guys come in and say, I'm not carrying 380. Yeah, it doesn't meet all those criteria. Well, yes, it's great to be prepared for everything, but number one, I'm not carrying my 380 all the time. It fits a specific mission. But then, so On a side note, Eric, it's also interesting. People like Claude Warner and our buddy Cecil Birch carry, 22 revolvers.
Yep.
And I don't know if Cecil carries a 22, but I know he carries a what's the LCR, I think, from Ruger. It's a really popular revolver.
Well, Aaron, if I can add one thing to what Claude Warner has discussed about 22s as well, and this is something that some of our audience members should think about as well, is there may become a time when all of us, once we get in our elder years, at some point, you may want a 22 for as you're getting older point. And maybe arthritic and whatnot. So that's another important factor to consider, and that's one of the things that Claude hit on pretty hard about that.
Well, you're bringing up another aspect that I did want to touch on, is that when you go in and kind of critique someone's choice, like their gun choice, if they're comfortable carrying a cartridge that you are not, remember that your situation is not exactly like the person's situation. They may have and a lot of times have a very good reason for choosing what they have chosen. Like, for instance, you just brought that good point up about when someone gets a little bit older, someone that's carrying that Glock 42, hey, maybe I was a little older and just couldn't carry or couldn't handle the larger calibers as well. You got to think about other people's possibilities of what their missions are, not just project what yours is. So, and I was just saying, so, I'm comfortable carrying a 380, and then other guys like Cecil and Claude are comfortable carrying a 22. And that's another axiom, Eric. Haven't you heard, the more you know, the less you carry?
Yeah.
I find that interesting. And I'm not putting down people that have larger guns and extra mags. I just simply, my normal carry is a Glock 19 without an extra magazine. It's just, I carry a bunch of stuff. 16 rounds in a civilian situation is, I believe, more than adequate. Now, there's some outliers that I may not be covering, but at the same time, I'm doing what I'm comfortable with and what I want to do and carry all the time, right?
So, absolutely, and I'll add to that, Aaron. I'm doing that more and more. I think it's been the soldier in me that I've done. Like, I got to have a extra mag, and I think about the situations where, what if, I think like that still, but I am starting to carry less and less a extra magazine because of what you just said, all the stuff we carry. And that reminds me, man, maybe we ought to do a short video, since we're doing more YouTube sometime, on our full carry.
Yeah.
At some point. No hurry on that, but it may be fun to do that.
Well, and one thing, I'm kind of going off on some tangents here, but I think this is germane. On the extra magazine thing, a lot of people will say, what if you have a failure in your magazine? I can tell you this, I've never had a Glock magazine fail. Never. Have you ever had a bad Glock magazine, Eric?
No, I haven't. And I think the main point behind that, when folks may really come down hard on this, and if folks want to discuss it, send us an email. We'd be glad to talk about it. John Correa's done a lot of research on this as well, regarding every single one of the videos that he's reviewed. I think he's got a preponderance of evidence and the likelihood of civilian.
And it's empirical, right?
Yep. Yeah. It's just the likelihood of a civilian doing a reload is just so unlikely. And again, Aaron, I'm just being honest. I still, when I can, I still like to, but I am carrying less and less an extra mag. But
Bro, when I carry
Go
my 48, I'm carrying an extra mag because that's 10 plus 1. I know I can get the Shield magazines and have the 15 plus 1 just like the Glock 19, but I'm just not sure I want to change out from the Glock magazines. I haven't seen it myself, but I think there's been some reliability issues with them, but don't quote me on that. But I'm just not ready to change over. So, but yeah, I carry an extra mag with that. But I mean, it's a slimmer, lighter gun, and it's a slimmer, lighter extra mag too. So,
well, Aaron, could I digress a second? Is that all you were going to hit on regarding ballistics?
No, I do want to revisit just real quick. So
okay, yeah, because when you're done, I have a couple of comments about some thoughts I've had. And totally coming from a slightly uneducated position, I just think it'd be fun to talk about it. But go ahead. I thought you had more. That's why I thought.
Oh, no, that's fine. And I wasn't planning on going into detail on this, other than I was wrong that I was just considering what most civilians would be concerned with, which is bare gelatin, no barrier, and then heavy clothing, no barrier. But again, those two first protocols, and I'll be honest, I don't know if these rounds are supposed to penetrate 12 inches, maximum of 18 inches after they pass through a steel barrier drywall or not. I haven't looked that up, but I just want to make it clear that there is more testing than the two that I was focusing on. But I'll just go back to the basics of the XTP loads that I carry. They do meet the bare minimum of 12 inches in bare gelatin, which they make 12.5 inches in bare gelatin. And then in the 4-layer of denim and gelatin, that they make 12.3 inches. The HydroShock also, they meet about the same criteria, levels as the XTP. There are some 380 loads that do pretty darn well. Do they meet 9mm? No, but when it comes to the gelatin, they're doing pretty good. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
Well, Aaron, this is something interesting, and I'm going to correct myself on the air as well. It's not like it was that big of a deal, but I had been mistaken that Chris LaPre, and we talked about it on the air already when we had him on last, was that I had thought that he was more of a proponent of the 77 grain OTM for short barreled pistols, or in his case rifle. And he said, no, actually he was more of a proponent of brown tip, or that's kind of the nickname for that round, the 70 grain all copper. And when he mentioned that, it's one of those things. I think we research things and we dig into things in these realms, but every now and then you just kind of run over something that you forgot about, or you didn't realize. And man, if I knew about that 70 grain all copper, man, all copper rounds, especially for short barrels, seem to be the thing to choose. And it's funny because when I did all the research on my 300 blackout load, which was a 125 grain TAC TX, it's a Barnes bullet, and actually the rounds are made by Barnes, that they have a similar, the TSX, in the 70 grain. I'm like, man, I wish I'd have picked up some of those. Now, I'm a firm believer still yet in the 77 grain overall, even out of short barrels. I've seen some good data on it. But yeah, I'm eyeballing getting a case of that 70 grain, or if anything, at least a couple hundred rounds of it for my 10.5. But one of the things that I am noticing, and this is completely just a preliminary research, it's hard to find a lot of testing on it that I've found yet, but it sure seems like we're looking at even still 19, 20 inches of penetration, and I start, over penetration beyond 18 inches, and I start, oh no, but then the more research I do, sometimes that may be a over concern. So I want to, say on the air, I'm still not totally understanding if I want to go I want to go that route, but if I'm that concerned about it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Am I really that concerned about over penetration at 19 or 20 inches? And if it really is that much of a concern, that's something that I got to dig into and figure out. But that 70 grain all copper out of the 10.5 seems to be a really good round from what Chris is saying, used in some shootings and what I'm seeing preliminary wise.
Well, that reminds me, it'd be nice to have a ballistic expert on. Any of you out there that know some good ballistics experts, we would love to have them on the show so we can be more educated on this stuff and educate our listeners. To be frank, we reached out to one of the country's premier ballistics experts, and he said he would come on, but for some reason hasn't been catching up with us to set a date. So a little bummed about that, but if there's any other out there, any other ballistics experts that would like to come on the show, hit us up on our email. So
yeah, and we haven't put that email out in a while.
Once you give it out,
crew at EvoSec.org is our main email. So crew at EvoSec.org.
So and then that brings up another topic that I just wanted to touch on real quick was audience that can't see this, but YouTube, you got the benefit of your eyes here. So this is my old main carry gun, which is a Glock 19 Gen 3, where I've done quite a bit of work to it. I retired it, and I think I talked about this on the show too. I retired it for just training, because when I'm training by myself, my Glock 17 gets so dang hot, I can't shoot it. Now, and that's simply the slide. I don't ride the slide with my thumb, but boy, it gets so dang hot, it burns my thumb just touching it, right? So I wanted a pistol that I could go back and forth, so I retired this to training and started carrying my wife's 48. And then all of a sudden, I start putting this together the other day after doing a little bit of work on it. Just all I did was swap out a connector, and all of a sudden I started noticing, Eric, that it was kind of difficult to pull out a battery, and then I don't know if you can kind of, so right now, audience, it's
out of battery.
It's slightly out of battery. Now watch that. See, I just pushed it in. It'll go back in. But there it is. So it runs just fine when I'm shooting with both hands. But when I shoot strong hand only, support hand only, it's locking out a breech after almost every round. Then I'll tap it in and fire again. So, and I have changed every single part out in this pistol except the locking block. And
the barrel, right?
I actually went to a buddy's last night and put his barrel in here. It's still doing the same thing.
So then I think you've narrowed it down then.
Narrowed it down to what? The lock?
Something within... Yep.
I can't see how the locking block could be the problem. The locking block has no cracks in it. It's seated plenty low. There's no impediment with the slide with it. But so I'm saying all that.
You said you replaced the the guide rod spring too, right?
Oh yeah, guide rod spring. I've changed out the plunger, the safety plunger. Forgive me. So that's for the striker safety plunger. Change the spring out. I changed the plunger out. So in other words, I'm just grabbing known good parts out of my other pistols that'll fit. And on that other, forum that shall not be named, people getting on to me, I'd leave the ignition component of your gun alone. That's a clue. But I switched.
That's what?
That's a clue. But I changed the entire trigger group out with, again, a known. I'm talking about the ejector, the extractor. I'm probably going to bore people talking about all the parts that I've taken out. I cannot find out what is wrong with this pistol.
Yeah, man, you got me.
Glocks are not that difficult. And so that brings up the fact that, if there's any armorers out there that are listening, maybe you could hit us up on that email address again. Eric, say that again.
It's crew@evosec.org. And, I'm sitting there thinking, I know John Dobbs listens to our show some of the time. I know he's a Glock armor, and he takes all the armor classes.
Well, and
so
that
maybe
we need
him
to
up.
take that. I wish now that I've wanted to take an armorer's class for a while, but now I really wish I had. But yeah, that's what I'm dealing with that pistol. It's frustrating, but yeah, something. I can't see there being anything wrong with the slide. I cleaned the heck out of it with, what is it, Slip 2000? I can't remember the name of the company. They're carbon killer. I cleaned the crap out of that gun to no avail. So, but yeah, anybody out there that might be able to help me.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I was just saying, anybody out there that could help me, hit us. Either you're a friend of ours, give me a text, or if you're a listener and you want to give us an email, that'd be awesome.
Well, Aaron, it reminds me, talking about cleaning the heck out of it, out of your pistol. I saw Mike Pannone post a video about him cleaning his Glock, and he simply, I can't remember in that video if he had used Simple Green at that point. But he said a bulk of the time he's just cleaning his pistol with Simple Green and water, and then using a blow dryer to and what was interesting to me as I thought through it, it made perfect sense to me because I understand the Glock pistol and modern pistols, and I also had been told by Jeff Gonzalez, when I was a soldier, I had taken one of Jeff Gonzalez's carbine and pistol classes, great class, and he had spoke about saying, hey, ditch that CLP, grab some Simple Green. That's a much better cleaning option downrange because of the hazmat issues and whatnot. But anyway, I was sitting there thinking, I bet there's going to be a bunch of doofuses. I didn't follow up, I may, but I bet you there's a bunch of doofuses like the dudes that were on that forum coming around and telling Mike Pannone, a former unit dude who knows what the hell he's doing, and telling him he's wrong for cleaning his pistol that way.
Well, and that brings up another issue. I bet you I clean, and I probably don't even need to clean them as often as I do. I think I clean my pistols about every 1,000 rounds.
That's about what I do too, man.
And I don't even count it up. It's like, hey, it's been a while since I've cleaned this. I'll grab a rag and rub it down a little bit, and stick some Q-tips in there.
Yeah. The corrosive primer days and the older firearms
finishes and everything,
older ammo, all the older finish. Yeah, that was was the thing back then. But the Army too, man. I tell you, I've told this story multiple times, but man, in basic training, I can't count the times that we would have to go back and clean our rifles more. When I'll say it on the air right now. That black crap that you're rubbing off there is freaking metal in most cases, not always carbon. It's finished too, and so it's like the Army or the military, man, can clean the maintenance out of them, man.
Yeah, clean the function out of them. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that it's an old wives' tale, for lack of a better term, that you got to clean the hell out of your rifles and pistols and your firearms. It's just not the case with modern firearms and modern ammunition.
Yeah.
You actually reduce the life cycle of your weapons, cleaning the crap out of them all the time. My opinion.
Yeah. Well, Eric, I something that we haven't got to talk about on the air are our new belts that we got from Tenacor, the Zero belts. I've got two of them now. I've got the inner belt, the one with the Velcro around the whole thing, and then I've got the normal Zero belt. Eric, have you been using yours much?
Aaron, I'm going to say I've been using my Zero belt almost entirely now.
Wow.
Because I'm used to it now. Well, it wasn't hard to get used to it at all. It's just that I was going back and forth between the Zero belt and the foundation belt, and I still love the foundation.
Yeah.
But I just think overall, man, I like that Zero belt. It's light, and that how easy it is. I'm used to adjusting it. When I'm gonna ride a long time in my vehicle, I can just loosen it up a little bit, like John Lovell says. What do you say? When he's fat, dumb, and happy, loosen it up a little bit. You get out of the vehicle. Nobody knows wiser.
Yeah, it's funny. One of the things I like about it most is how easy it is to get on.
Yep.
When you're used to something like the foundation belt or any of the other belts that have Velcro, they get snagged on your belt loops, especially the Zion stretch pants, the Prana pants that we wear. It gets stuck on them. Boy, that Zero belt just goes right through, and you would think that wouldn't be a big deal, but wait until you get used to it and then go back and forth. Now, I'm not getting rid of my foundation belts. I still love those things too. But the Zero's really, really working great for me. And, it's easy to get on. And when you look, if you've seen the Zero belt, you go take a look at some pictures of it. It looks like the way the buckle works, it would be hard to put it together, and it just wouldn't adjust very well. Dude, everything Jeff does is brilliant. Just to be...
Yeah, man. Jeff is a brilliant dude, man. Shout out to Jeff Mao.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's legit trainer, legit fighter, and his gear is legit. But yeah,
I'd pull mine off if I was wearing it, but like I said, I'm actually in gym attire because I got home. I didn't work out this morning. So I was hoping you had yours on. Yes. I didn't know if you were in sports attire or not.
Oh, I'm in some Prana pants here and my Paul Gilbert.
So man, you can show the audience the closure.
Yeah. So for those that can see it, but I can try and explain it too to our listeners. So it's got this buckle that you just put the actual.
Bring it up a little bit, Aaron.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yep.
So you actually just put the tail through this one hole here, and you put the tail behind the belt, tuck it through your other belt loop, and that seems like it would not work very well, and it would be hard to do or like cumbersome. It's not at all.
Not at all.
And then the way this buckle works is it just clamps down from the tension, and dude, it doesn't move at all. And then it just comes right out, and it's easy to get on, and it's like nothing else out there. So
yeah, man, it's phenomenal. And again, Jeff is Tenacor is a sponsor of the show, but we were using Tenacor gear before they were, and this wasn't intended to be a commercial tonight at all. But when we think about
I'm just excited about it.
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is, please, if you folks are interested, go on Tenacor.com and grab one of those belts.
I certainly
tell them we sent you.
Definitely. Well, Eric, I did have one more. I mean, this is our gear and mindset episode. You got some mindset stuff to talk about, Eric? Because I don't want to let our audience down with misrepresentation from our title.
Well, I guess we haven't had much mindset stuff going on, but Aaron, I think I wasn't really prepared.
I'm just razzing you, bro.
I can say it off the cuff right now, and it's going to sound like a broken record, and that is the easiest way to develop mindset, because as Craig Douglas says, it's not a verb, is you got to do hard things. And man, it can be something as simple, just like my workout earlier, when again, I prefer to work out in the morning, but it's just the way it shook out today is my workout was in the afternoon after I got home from work. And I didn't feel like working out today. And normally I'm typically pretty pumped to work out, because man, I got a badass home gym that I get inspired when I walk in there.
Cool.
And I was just one of those, I just had one of those days today where I was just a little bit, I just wasn't as motivated. And we get a lot of influence from Jocko, and it's like, you know what? I was sitting there with my dog in my lap for a minute, just sitting on the couch, and I said, "Hey, it's time to get up and work out." And so I went upstairs and got dressed and in my gym attire, and went downstairs and got an awesome workout in. And some of my sets were a little tougher to get done today, but those are the types of things that do help us develop our mindset. And just like tomorrow morning, I got daybreakers. I'm gonna have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. That's sometimes hard to do and go train, but those are two mindset development examples. And I'm not perfect. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But those are two of the best examples I can think of for people wanting to develop mindset is to get a home gym if you don't have one. I think it's the best investment that folks can make.
Hey, bro, I finally hung up that pull-up bar you sent me from Iraq.
And I was so pumped. And Aaron, it's funny. I mentioned to Jana the day before, I was like, man, I need to ask my brother and razz him. As he hung up that damn pull-up bar. And yeah, so you got it hung up, and it's up in your guys' game room, which is your guys' gym. Mm-hmm. Where you have your gym gear, and you sent me a picture of Graham getting after it on some pull-ups. Man, I was pumped,
bro. My boys, both those kids tear the gym up, man. Of course, you're not surprised when you've got a 13-year-old that can do 100 pull-ups, but at the same time, it's still awesome. And I'll just lay it out here, Eric. The reason why that pull-up bar is up there is because that kid, my 13-year-old Graham, he was getting ticked off at me because he was bugging me to put it up for 2 or 3 weeks. Actually, it was longer than that, but it got real heavy the last few weeks. So yeah, I'm glad to have it up. And
well, Aaron, I'll just add to that, man. It's like sometimes when I talk to people about, when they don't have a home gym and they want something, I just tell them, hey, go grab a 35-pound or a 44-pound kettlebell. Either one of them is fine. 35 is a little light for people that are used to working out, but I still use my 35 sometimes, depending on what the movements are and how long the duration of the set I want it to be. But I tell them, get a kettlebell and get a daggum pull-up bar, and there's so much you can do with some flat space and those two implements, man. They're man, pull-ups, having abilities to do pull-ups, chin-ups, and various grip changes. Man, that changes people's upper body strength drastically. The average person cannot do a pull up.
Yeah.
And if you can get to the point where you're even doing 5, I think is what I would call a above average for certain.
Yeah.
Man, you can do 10. You can do 15, 20, man, you're freaking solid.
Yeah, and I'm starting to work on it for sure.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to hearing how that goes.
Well, yeah, I'll have to do a big workout video of me doing a couple of pull-ups.
Cool.
Well,
awesome.
Well, real quick, Eric, and I think we've probably talked about everything we were planning to talk about, but now, what's fun in the mail, I received this from our good buddy Chris LaPrey, who we had on, I think, a couple of episodes ago. He designed an ankle IFAC kit for, and let me see here, let me get it right, with Riker nylon. And so this showed up in my mailbox today, and I finally just put it together, and I've got my cat tourniquet and then my Z-Gauze, Celox Z-Gauze in here. And I actually, Eric, finally ordered a set of chest seals. And those chest seals,
awesome.
I can put here in the back. There's a pouch in the back. It's
awesome.
It's made out of it's slightly stretchy, just slightly. And I think that was one of the features that Chris really wanted, because he couldn't find an ankle rig that he really liked. So he designed one and had these guys make them up for him. And it's
awesome.
So it's got, I'm not very familiar with ankle rigs, but it's got these pouches and then Velcro to lock in what you have here. There's, I'm assuming this small pouch is for your scissors, and then
probably so.
So I mean, it's not going to hold a ton of stuff, but I'll tell you, for us, the gauze, the tourniquet, and chest seals. That when we had Dr. Sherman House on, which, man, we got to have him on again.
Oh yeah, man!
But that
Shout out to Sherman.
Yeah, that was the. I can't carry a bunch of stuff on me when it comes to medical gear, but I was tired of having a big bulge in my side pocket for just these 2 items. So now I can run this on my ankle, and with the chest seals, I think I'm pretty good to go.
Yeah, those are the most important items, in my opinion. Not that I'm a medical expert whatsoever. I learned that from the dudes and the dudettes that know a hell of a lot better than me, that do it as a profession.
Yeah.
So that's where. Go ahead.
So I was just going to say, shout out to Chris. Thanks so much for sending this, man. This is a killer design. I'm looking forward to wearing this. So I haven't worn jeans in 15 years. So I got a new pair of jeans the other day. I've been wearing jeans and Doc Martens, believe it or not, Eric.
Well, cool, man. I'm looking forward to getting a pair of the Origin jeans. I'm gonna put some of those on order.
What I want
with our discount.
I want one of those. Well, I want some of those boots, but man, those are still a little bit out of my price range.
even with their discount. Well, bro, real quick, shout out to Caleb Cossey, Long Star Medics, pardon me. That's the kit that I use, is this their ankle rig, and it's got the same items. I've got a flat folded cat. Goodness gracious, soft tee wide. Pardon me, that was total Freudian slip. I've got combat gauze and a Russell chest seal on this one. I prefer the hyphens myself. That's what is in my pocket kit, because I don't always carry this. I carry it when I'm in pants, but in the summer, I don't carry this as often. I'm just going to be honest. But I also tape this on with some monkey tape, so I have a little bit of tape that I can use for application as well. And this ankle rig functions as a pressure dressing as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah. So this is a damn good rig too. Well, Aaron, I think we're getting close, but I did have one of a couple. We're still on gear, right?
Yeah.
So, see, one of my newest rash guards here, bro.
Oh, yeah.
See there.
And apparently that is got some purple accents, bro.
Yep, got some purple there. I get to wear a ranked rash guard now.
Eric,
that's
the one that has the so that's of course the rank rash guard, and that has kind of belts wrapped around, right?
Yeah,
doesn't it have belts?
Yeah, this is I think it's called the Odyssey is what it's called. But yeah, I like that Origin rash guard. I've been wearing that lately. And of course, this got the Path.
Oh yeah, when did you get that?
I've had this a while.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, man, I love the idea of the Path, the gi and the rash guard. Of course, as we can't see it as well here, but the audience can probably see where it has all the main belts in jiu-jitsu: white, blue, purple, brown, black.
Yeah, wrapped around the Origin O. Yeah, I love that concept too. And what I love, Eric, is they run into each other. And have you ever noticed that the black belt is graying on the tip?
Yeah.
It's legit.
I dig it, man. Totally legit. And then it's kind of hard to do with. I'll scoot back here a little bit. It's tough, man. This is one of my favorite gis here is the Jocko Def gi. I really dig this, and this was the original run of these. So this is in their older. This is in their older pearl weave. I love this gi. Still fairly lightweight, but the newer Def gis come in the Path gi, which is overall my favorite gi right now. But man, I'll be honest with you, I like black gis. So I need one of the Path gis in black.
Bro, I'm starting to work out at the gym that we're actually hosting our class in November, and I'm definitely, when I start working out there more, I'm gonna grab either a black or blue Origin. I'm tired of wearing white all the time.
And I love white too, man. But I just like black better. I guess I didn't bring my Path gi in here,
bro. So, how often do you run into people that have stinky, unwashed gis?
Not that often anymore. Man, you get run off at most gyms now if you show up stinking
good
like that.
Well, and that's one of the reasons why our gym has you wear white. So it at least helps see if your gi's dirty or not. But
Yeah, that's a valid reason.
Yeah.
But some gyms prefer because they prefer the traditional of the white. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I guess I didn't bring my path gi in here. I thought I did, but I've got this is an older gi in Gorilla Weave, but man, this is similar to the Axiom in black. I dig this, and this is one of my favorites too. But yeah, man, I love.
How many Origin gis do you have?
5, I think.
Man,
not that many.
Sounds like. What do you mean, not that many? I've got 2 Origin gis. I'm about to throw down on another one, but it sounds like you've got almost as many gis as I have guitars.
Man, I love them, man. I want some more.
Bro, speaking of, before we get off here, and I need to say something like this earlier in the show, but the fact that the intro of this song, this episode should have had that new tune that you and I recorded the last couple of weeks here. Stoked to have that on there. We're working on some new music, and I dig that tune too.
That was an awesome tune, man. Great guitar, man. Awesome solos. That's a good tune.
Thank you, man. It was fun recording, and I've gotten a lot better. Every time I do this, I get better at the engineering side, the mixing side, and what goes into processing music after you record it. It's amazing what you have to do to get music to sound like a good recording that you would hear, on the radio or that you would download one of your favorite bands. It's not as good, but it's darn close. And mm-hmm. the fact that we put it together ourselves, it's a lot of fun and rewarding. But another thing,
very rewarding,
audience, if you've noticed some other tunes that we've had on here, man, having Tim Alexander on the show, and then we've kind of started having at least a small little bit of a friendship. We chat a little bit here and there about security concerns, and Tim said we could use some of his music. So you're going to hear every now and then you'll hear some Tim Alexander solo music, which is freaking badass too.
Yeah.
So shout out to Tim if he's listening. Thanks for letting us play some of your music on here, because man, it's great music. So
yeah, man, talk about, we say it all the time, just pinch ourselves, man. I mean, I'm amazed at some of these relationships, and to be able to at least virtually befriend Tim is pretty cool.
Very, very cool.
Absolutely. And hopefully we get to train with him soon. We hope that comes together.
Oh yeah. Well, bro, I think we're done for tonight.
I agree, Aaron. If I could add one thing to my little display here. No, not at all. This is quick. Is that, please, folks, if you enjoy this show, one of the things that you can do to help us out, if you need any jiu-jitsu gis or Jocko supplements or boots or jeans or anything like that, rash guards, please go to our show notes and check out the Origin affiliate link, because it helps us. We aren't getting rich off this show, I guarantee that. But anything you guys do that helps us, certainly thank you very much for that. But yeah, man, this has been fun. This is our gear and mindset bonus shows, and we like to talk about gear a little more than we admitted at the beginning.
That's true. Gear's fun.
It is, we decided to do this based on the gear that supports this path. So I think we've been very, very adherent to that.
Sure. Well, bro, you have a good evening, and it's been a fun chat. And thank you, audience, for listening to us. And again, please share the show, rate it, and give us a review on iTunes. That would help us out a lot. So
and on YouTube, please subscribe and like for us. That'll help us grow there as well.
Excellent. Well, bye everybody. Have a good evening.
Take care, brother. out.